In today's video, I want to share with you 5 things that I think you should know about this camera, the Sony Fx30. Now, my hope is that this video will save you a little bit of time, stress, and money along the way. For those of you that are new around here, my name's Riley, and I'm a documentary filmmaker who likes talking all things filmmaking and creativity. I'm also someone that likes to shoot on Sony cameras, and so if any of that interests you, be sure to subscribe and follow along. All right, let's dive in. This one will hopefully save you some money, and it's not something that I hear a lot of people talking about. And it's using one of these guys, an Atomos recorder, the Ninja 5 or the Ninja 5 Plus with the FX30 to record ProRes RAW. Now, it opens up some cool features, but I'm a little bit hesitant to recommend it, and I actually would say that I don't think ProRes RAW is worth it for the FX30. And I think that this could save you over $1,000 depending on what you end up going with. Now, in order to get all of the available frame rates and up to 4K 60 frames per second, you need the Ninja 5 Plus, which is about $800. And then you're also going to need batteries, SSDs, and an HDMI cable to record ProRes RAW from the FX30. Now you get a couple of nice features. You get 12-bit color, you get some extra resolution, and then you also get the ability to change things like ISO and white balance in post. But one of the sort of trade-offs in recording a RAW format is that because the image is not processed, it also doesn't have any noise reduction happening. And so ProRes RAW bypasses the noise reduction, and the FX30 is not an excellent camera in low light. I don't think it's a terrible camera in low light, but it just is not great. And so this sensor definitely has a noticeable increase in noise when you're filming in RAW. Now, it is a significant amount, in my opinion, more noise than when you're recording RAW on something like the A7S or the FX3. And that's something that I'm a big fan of on those cameras, but this camera, I just haven't been as happy with it because there is a fair amount of noise introduced to the RAW signal, and you will have to spend more time cleaning up that noise in post. And so, in my opinion, I feel like you can save the $1,000 or $1,000+ with ProRes RAW and just film with the internal modes that are really good on this camera. One other thing that I think you should know is that this camera does not ship with a battery charger. You're gonna have to plug it in and charge it through the camera on this little USB port. It does come with like a little charging brick, but you're gonna have to charge the batteries through the camera. And so that means you're gonna have to have the camera out, sitting somewhere to charge. You're gonna have to swap the batteries in and out of the camera if you've got more than one that you need to charge up. And so in my opinion, I would just plan on buying a separate Sony battery charger and using that. It's gonna save you some stress, and it's just gonna make life a little bit easier. In my opinion, the dynamic range and the colors from this camera were definitely a pleasant surprise. Some of the initial reviews that first came out on the camera said that the dynamic range was not as good as something like the FX3, and that the colors didn't match it either. And now I will admit that the dynamic range is probably about a stop less than the FX3, but I think that it still is in the very good, if not excellent range. I've not run into any scenario where I didn't feel like there was a good highlight roll off, or I just felt like I definitely didn't have good dynamic range with the camera. Overall, I feel like it's a great image, and I've been super happy with it. And then as far as matching colors to other Sony cameras, it's not an exact match, but I do think that it's close enough that with 2 to 3 minutes of tweaking your white balance and your tint in post, you're not going to have any problem at all, especially if you're filming in a log format like S-Log3. You just have so much room to work with that any small variations between multiple cameras is not going to be a significant headache, and is not something that you should worry about very much. It's not created very many headaches for me, and I've just found that this camera with the good dynamic range and the flexible image when recording in 10-bit is more than enough to match my A7S or an FX3. One other thing that is really nice about the FX30 is that you can import custom LUTs onto this camera. So if you know that there's a certain look that you're going for, or there just is a LUT or two that you find that you're using on most of your projects, you can import that through the SD card and just load it onto the camera. And you don't need a big external monitor to be able to view that custom LUT. And so if you know your project is going to be in black and white or is going to use a certain look, then you can import that onto the camera and it is really nice. Now, I think that the built-in like display assist features that convert S-Log3 to Rec 709 are actually really good and usable. But if you want like a little bit more precise of an idea of what your final image is going to look like, then this is a really nice feature to take advantage of. Now, this next one will hopefully save you some stress and hassle, and it's that the top handle is actually customizable to an extent. There are some really nice accessories that you can get for this top handle that I would recommend, and I think it will make your life filming with it a lot easier. So the accessories that I got for my top handle are from Small Rig, and it's this little handle extension unit here that just adds another couple of inches. There's some 1/4-20 mounting points, and then as well there's like a cold shoe mounting point right here, so I could hang like a lob pack off of the back of the camera. And then I also installed a NATO rail on the top and then a NATO rail on the side here. And so I'm really able to mount a lot of things to the top of the rails because there are additional 1/4-20s, and then as well I can use like a NATO style attachment to hang a monitor off the side or the top of the top handle. And so for me, this really helps kind of make the camera a little bit more usable. It is just such a small, compact body, and so having a little bit of extra real estate on the top handle just allows for some more flexibility and customization, and to really be able to kind of customize the camera to your liking. I found that generally these parts are not very expensive, and they definitely make a big difference when shooting with such a small form factor. Be sure to let me know below if there's anything that stood out or surprised you about the FX30. And if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would consider liking and even consider subscribing as well. It really is the best way to help me support this channel. All right, thanks so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.